the capability to play it in multiple roles, and we are back underway with the unpause coming out. Tempest up against Hokori, and looks like Tempest, yeah, you love to see it. Off to a good start for them with the D-Ward already.
I don't love to see it. I already lost my points from outsiders losing. I gotta get Hokori with the W.
Oh no, not the deny. Look at this. You got 9 heroes just huddling around, and a poor old Medusa doesn't want anything to do with it.
Doesn't have the new Medusa set, sadly. Have you seen that one? We saw it in one of the games yesterday. It's like Medusa pre whatever's happened to her face, basically. She looks very nice, very pretty.
I don't remember it. Maybe, obviously I wasn't paying attention.
You were casting it.
Yeah, maybe I didn't even. I
Like,
probably
your
didn't
name's
recognize it was
Lachlan.
even new.
Blink twice if you're being held hostage.
No one can see me blinking though. It's okay.
I can. I've got a little camera just in the
Dude,
the right area.
What? Help me, chat, please. Then I'll just holding me hostage. Not someone else. It's actually.
Yeah, this is where the blinking actually needs to happen. All right, how do we know? How do we think these lanes are going to go? You've got anti-mage paired together with a Wyvern up top. You've got a pretty decent start, and I want to see. I don't think we've actually cast an anti-mage game ever since they buffed up the mana break, right? Just to have that extra little bit of slow early on. I feel like against something like a Tiny, it's going to be really impactful, just because you've got that 0 armor to be able to start with. So if you're getting run down really early on, that's got to feel real bad for Slardin to have to play around.
Yeah, I think you can consider going for a brawling build on anti-mage top. I feel like with the Wyvern slows and Lumiere like jumping on the Death Prophet to try and burn her mana, and as soon as the DP doesn't have any mana for the lane, then she's really going to struggle at being able to bully them out. So you can look to go down that route, or you can just rush your battlefield, get the Ring of Health up, get the treads as early as possible, and continue to farm. So I think there's a couple of routes that Lumiere can go down if he wants to. You do see, though, this tiny level 1 with the tree grab slot, and so we have a very good job at getting some early harassment out onto Lumiere.
Yeah, for sure. I think Lumiere's item build that he's got in his quick buy is the right one. You just need that little bit of regen from the Ring of Health. You need the power treads for that brawling style, and just something simple like the magic stick is going to do wonders against this lane that constantly wants to be spamming spells at you. In terms of mid lane, you would expect Analog to be able to get on top of Sabas in this one. Of course, heavy physical damage is the counter to the puck, and well, I know three branches is a pretty standard build. Just plant one and eat it if you need that little bit of extra regen, but even just providing that tiny bit of agility can mean a lot in terms of some of these early game trades, and well, that's why Analog's going to go into the super early Blightstone, just 25 gold away after the bottle. Really going to look to just see him continually try and harass out Sabas.
And our last lane down bottom here should be Kataru. Not Theolocor, just out of range. To be able to land. It should be an okay lane for Tempest. A lot of it does come down to positioning. The Weaver and Marcy have very nice ways to be able to gap close. I think maybe in a more aggressive lane, this is where the Bane can kind of thrive into the Weaver when you've got that sentry control. They're going to go in, actually. Kataru. Nightmare's going to be able to hold back the Marcy. It will buy enough time for Medusa to get rid of the bugs. She's got a Fairy Fire and a 1 charge to play with if required. They're just going to go for the Bane instead. They still need to find First Blood. So they're happy with getting the bonus gold onto the Bane instead of, potentially missing the kill onto the Medusa.
It was important that the Medusa just stays down in this lane, though. Doesn't lose out on this time to be able to get the experience and the farm. It was actually Katsu feeding two of those
they're jumping back in. Kataru, beautifully done. Theolocor with the jump as Katsu just is able to TP back in the nick of time to protect Kataru. They might look to shove the lane and go for a dive, though. Medusa does not have any resources to play with.
3, 2, 1. I mean, wonder if Vitali's going to go for this jump here. Yes, indeed. Should be able to clean this one up without losing anyone. Katsu is getting harassed a little bit. They're trying to... Yeah, they're just trying to stay out of that 500 range for the tower to hit you instead of the creeps. Vitali?
Oh, nice
Vitali?
trick. No way. What's the play now, Vitali? Stuck in a tree line. He's like, all right, I'll give the kill. You know, it's a free reset for the Weaver.
Sure, but I feel like you don't want to give the Bane experience early on. You know, that's one of the strongest parts of the Bane, right? Just being able to trade a lot more effectively. Put your body on the line up front so that the Medusa isn't being dived like she just was. Oh. Mid lane, Sabas dodging out a little bit here. It's likely a bit more lag. Never mind, freeze coming through.
Sabas, if he... I think he's going to go for the bounty rune. I mean, there's a Hokori that's, if he goes for it, he's going to see the anti-mage's Hokori, which is in rare health.
Oh, lucky.
This no good. Oh, no. Lumi, he might go down as well. Draken's going to have another Crypt Swarm up short if they want to continue chasing the anti-mage. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we got action as well as the Bane will get chased down. So Weaver getting a little bit of revenge once he's able to get the resources back, and this is his own charges now for Vitali to play with.
Very nice. He just wants to try and rush that Spirit Vessel. Such an effective item against the DP, against the Medusa. It's going to do wonders, especially if you're playing it from this position 3 roll. It just means that you're going to get it so much earlier than a lot of the other times that a Spirit Vessel is being built.
Mentioned the kind of the puck item build the Scar with the iron branches just to try and provide a little bit of armor. You know, we're seeing Sabas as well going to that first chainmail. Of course, it is going to be natural build into the Witchblade, but just helping out against the damage from the Ember. Bottom lane, some poking back and forth. Feel, of course, sees an opening to be able to jump onto Katyu. Vitali's still going to be a bit cautious, so Kataru's going to get doing a really good job to continuously right-clicking down the Weaver, so Vitali feels hesitant about committing.
Don't you love laning into Weaver, man? It's just like you can't step into the lane at all, and they honestly have to be a little bit careful here with Bane looking to rotate through, try and secure one of those mid lanes because bot lane's going horribly. Mid lane, it's not going amazingly for the puck. Actually, he's kind of even with the Ember Spirit, so quite surprising that Sabas has been able to get this much out of it. Like, might be even be able to secure both of these power runes here. Oh, it's DD, it's top, but Gardeck's the one scouting it out.
Gardeck yoinks it. Alright, so no refill of the bottle here for Sabas or Analog. I guess Analog does have 3 charges already, but unfortunately no double damage rune to maybe find a kill or even rotate down to the side lane. So they might look to hang out around mid, continue finding them farm for the next minute 30, and then wait for another power rune respawn to consider about moving down to help out.
Analog just got a really nice deny off onto the siege creep in mid lane, and he's continuing the harass moving forward.
Bottom, Kataru down bottom. Oh. Gets a lot of mana back thanks to the snake, so he's able to step back into the tree line and with Katyu nearby. Meanwhile, we've got a kill up top as well as Gardeck goes down thanks to Slardon on the Tiny. They might dive Kataru still. He's got to be cautious. He doesn't have any resources to play with. He's going to juke out to the right side, but Theo, of course, slams down with the rebound. Another death for the Medusa. And now mid lane Sabas might be in a bit of trouble too if Analog wants to continue. Slide up in a couple of seconds, but no, he's got the remnant as well. He's going to commit for it. Coil has to be used from Sabas. The Ember's out of mana now. They can turn it around. A TP's going to come out from Slardon. They wouldn't even need the tiny toss to break the coil. All they needed was a little bit of extra damage from the avalanche.
Yeah, getting a little bit too cocky coming through there. Really quick fingers on the Dream Coil as well by Sabas. Nicely done there. But yeah, I just feel like... Is that a double smoke? No, I think it was just the single coming through as he's looking to make a rotation up top. Not sure how effective this is going to be without the Dream Coil, though. Of course, any time that you can... Oh, actually, they're going to try and go for a kill up here onto Draken. This might be the perfect bait, though.
He's got the Exo. Not going to have enough mana, but look at the rotation with Sabas. They're not targeting down the targets at the same time, though. For Lumi and Gardeck, they go together, and it means the Death Prophet gets blown up. And now Sabas is in trouble as well, as Analog mirrors the movement top. They're going to be able to chase down Slardon. Sakuchi up in a couple of seconds. They've got the slide as well. Slardon, an ambitious attempt with the deny, but for Hokori, beautiful rotation for Analog, moving top. And we see just Tempest, they kind of split their damage a little bit on the Wyvern, a little bit on the Anti-Mage, and they didn't get anyone.
It's always a ballsy thing when you're going for these cold embraces. You have to try and read the mind of your carry that you're looking to help, but it was really nicely done by Gardic there, just stalling it out for long enough to be able to provide that little bit of extra protection. Top lane, now they make the move with the coil. Will it be enough, though?
That doesn't look like it. Silence is only level 1. Lumiere, is it going to be enough damage? It is. Okay. And now Sabas is going to jump over to Gardic. Orb's up in a couple of seconds. Gardic will be able to step into the tree line. They get the orb on the monk. Gardic will TP out.
Still, though, it's a really great use of the Exorcism, right? You get the core kill, you get about a quarter of the duration on the Exorcism to assist with taking the tower. Kachu's doing his best to try and not reveal a lot on this bottom side, and actually Weaver's going to come up top. They really don't want to let this tower go.
Vitaly's going to be cautious. Sentry drop. They will have the chain control with the silence, but the damage, that's the thing in question. Vitaly gets the time lapse off, and now Tempest, they need a split. Sliding down to the south, Draken up to the north. They've already gotten rid of the Tiny, and now they can pivot all their attention over to the escaping Death Prophet. As Draken will go down for a second time in a row, and Hokori keep the tier 1 tower alive.
They just don't want to open up this map for the Medusa to be able to farm. That's the biggest priority, right? Yes, you've got the Dire side. Yes, you've got an anti-mage that's eventually going to need all these camps to farm, but it's much more on the Medusa, right? Like, Medusa, she doesn't feel like she can go bot. That's why she's mid. She still doesn't feel like she can go top because there's a tier 1 tower there. There's so many chances for these reinforcements to come and make exactly what just happened happen again. So I feel like if they could just keep this tower up for a little bit longer on Hokori, it's going to keep the Medusa down there on 6th on the net worth, last of the cores, and give Anti-Mage the time that he needs to get that earlier item. He's already about, 500 gold ahead of her, and if you can get into that BKB quite soon, then maybe the time where the Medusa's hitting her 2-item timing, Anti-Mage hits the 3 or close enough to it that he's going to be able to match that really easily.
Yeah, very impressed with how they've been able to slow down the Medusa's game. And it's not like a Tempest have the capability to start making stacks. I mean, the Tiny, I guess you can with the tree throw, actually. Being a little bit more difficult as well with the movement speed, but they need a way to be able to get the Medusa racking up the farm. Katoro, been in the jungle for quite some time, but they need to also to consider about protecting Kataro's farming. Because Theodore's hunting, maybe going on a warding expedition. Does he have a ward? He does, okay. You?
I see the Weaver coming around here. They know they've got the vision up on the high ground. Does Marcy have a sentry? No, not quite. So will Theodore's be able to get out of this one? Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, but they're coming in to try and contest this. They're going to turn to Slardin instead. A lot of control has already been expended here from Tempest. They've got the Phoenix Crypt though. No one's playing with the Ember Spirit. They all look to move out to the right side, but Analog just survives. Sliding the Remnant out. Analog will be okay.
Side Lumiere was almost soloing Kataro on the Medusa there. It's an ambitious movement for sure. They will still eventually get that D-ward off. And, well, now you've got the Spirit Vessel on Vitaly, and look who he's found. The target that you want with that Spirit Vessel to connect onto every single time. Use it just before he goes into the tree line and at least force a much more defensive movement. In the meantime, Draken, without using the Exorcism, was able to take that top tower as well. So this is what I was talking about. Katara has much more space to be able to play around. Even just their triangle, right? There's not as many avenues to go for the TP into the smoke.
How can Tempest look to get full effectiveness out of this Death Prophet at the top of the net worth?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think it's just doing what Draken's doing right now, right? You just put yourself out on the map in the riskiest position possible. You're not the one that's going to carry this game. It's all on the Medusa. So you've just got to, even if it means yourself dying a couple of times, if Deuce is able to use that space to free farm, you're very, very happy.
We see Draken shoves top and looks to move towards the mid side. Exalt, they're ready. Tempest playing like they want to try and enclose in onto the tier 1 tower. You've got Slardin nearby, Katyu nearby as well. See what Hokori can do. Do you feel like they have the capability to defend this tower on Hokori if Exo is dropped?
I would say so. One sec, I'm just sneeze. The Winter's Curse obviously does a great job against this lineup that wants to... No, it actually went away. that want to clump up quite aggressively, right? You know, a Death Prophet needs to run at you, a Puck needs to jump onto you. So as long as Gardeck's positioning is fine and he's not getting caught out with some of these silences early on, things should be a-okay for Hokori.
At you. Run into the Weaver at the
Grip
moment.
at 10.
They need the perfect use of the chain control, but the chain's going to be able to hold back the Tiny. So Vitali, he'll step out to the right side. And that is an Exo wasted here. So a big victory for the boys on Dire.
Gardeck was in the right position for that one as well, just staying completely away. It might mean that you're a second or two later, but you would much rather that than yourself getting caught inside of that Dream Coil, inside of that Waning Rift silence as well.
Dire's top
So-
tower is under attack.
Gardeck going to even be able to remove a lot of this extra vision, and I wonder if now they're going to go for this kill attempt, realizing that there isn't the potential for that exorcism to be used for a turnaround.
I blame they see
Keep the situation
Kataro.
looking like-
They see
yeah.
the Medusa, he pushed a little bit too far forward. He's only got the Death Prophet nearby, chucks the silence out, but that'll do nothing as Hokori, beautifully done, catching Medusa out farming on the map.
And for those that aren't aware, Kataro is Minoz, who obviously
Lumineer?
has a pretty extensive resume, let's call it, playing within the South American region, and that's just a mistake that he shouldn't be making. You know, they just went through the the Dire jungle. They de-warded the Observer Ward that was placed up recently, and he just got a little bit too greedy, looking to farm that extra camp, not wanting to give it up, but, I mean, you can't farm it all if you're dead, so just giving more and more of that net worth over. Now, that net worth lead for the Anti-Mages ballooned out to 1100.
There's a curse onto the Puxabus. The orb's expired. He's going to be in a bit of trouble here. One to the Fairy Fire, but it's not enough bonus health. Hokori, I've always been impressed with them so far through the qualifiers with how they've been playing around the power runes. 4 heroes instantly moving to the river to try and secure this, and they don't get it. Sabas finds the invis, but it doesn't matter. You get a big kill into the Puck. Now you can chain this into a T1 tower. It's going to really open up the map if they're going to be able to find this objective.
It's just about recognizing what's important at the various stages of the game. Will they stick around, though, with the Puck about to respawn in 1? Be happy enough to be able to claim the tower. But the thing is, like, where else are they going to be playing? You don't need to play bot because the tower's already gone and Lumiere's farming there. Oh, just able to get away. You don't really want to play top because you don't have a tower to play around. Tier 1 top tower for the Radiant isn't super valuable. So why not play around the power runes? Why not try and get that mid tier 1 tower and enable these movements inside of Tempest's jungle to be so much easier?
Pops a smoke. Gardeck's off to the right side if he wants to try and help out here, but the curse still on cooldown, so there's no turnaround potential. And no, Anti-Mage was the person in the neighborhood as well, but this hero only with Battle Fury is not looking to show up to those particular fights. So, nothing crazy. Tempest smoking down for that, but at least it is taking maybe some attention away from Kataro, who is again playing towards the triangle. Dragonlance working on the Asha next for the Medusa.
Quite like this Observer Ward that was placed down by Gardeck recently inside of the Radiant jungle. Just gives a lot of that vision, and it's in a really odd place that not anyone past the laning stage would think to de-ward. So it's going to give a lot of information about 3 different avenues of movement constantly. You'll be able to see if people are perhaps trying to path towards the Dire Ancients even eventually. And he should have been able to see this Observer Ward placed down by Katyu as well. But for now, he's just going to leave it there. Maybe just giving that bit of information over to Lumiere on the Anti-Mage saying, hey, just make sure that you're not giving too much information around this area. I don't want them to know that I saw you come up and ward, because then our Great Ward has the potential to be removed. Full DC, though.
So
Coming through from Tempest. Hopefully everything's okay.
Then you are an anti-mage hater, let's say it like that. You've got a couple of
I
heroes.
thought you were
that
about to say something positive about me for a change, and then it's just, you hate this hero.
Well, is it negative? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people dislike anti-mage. You know, the hero doesn't do much. You have a couple on that list that you do not like seeing people playing pubs. You know, the Earthshaker is one of them. You even in pro games, you have a list of who you feel like is
who's
good
allowed
enough to play the Earthshaker. Yeah, who's allowed. That's a great way to put it. And the anti-mage is one of them. You feel like this is a do-nothing hero, but for Lumiere, What do we feel like in this game, though? Because he's top of the net worth. I know we were speaking a lot about it in the draft, and I was kind of expecting the Medusa to have a much better time. Honestly, Medusa should be where the anti-mage net worth is, and Lumiere, he should be where the Medusa's net worth is. So now that it's flipped on its head, how does this kind of change the status quo of this game one?
Well, the thing is, because Medusa's so far behind, she doesn't she doesn't have the capability to get a little bit more active, to play around that slightly earlier timing than the anti-mage has. And as long as you're predicting and focusing down the death profit for a lot of these movements, you're not going to lose anything, right? Like, you've lost a tier 1 tower at the top side, but your tier 1 mid's still totally healthy, and they've got some good vision as well around these key objectives. You can see if they're looking to move through the bot side, through these observer wards placed down recently, and it just feels like they're in a really good spot on Hokori, where anti-mage can be this do-nothing hero for at least the next, 5 minutes or so until you pick up the Manta style. And then beyond that, I feel like you're ready to go in. You're not worried about the silences quite so much, which I mentioned as being a bit of an issue. And as well, you're not worried about just running into the Medusa because you are the direct counter to it.
Do we feel like there's any... Is it going to be the cookie cutter build here for the anti-mage, or is there something that is required out of him in a game like this?
Any items, did you say?
Yeah, like, do you feel like it's just, the stock standard cookie cutter anti-mage build, or is there something that he does need to consider a little bit later on?
I mean, you could consider it a Fusel Blade, just to completely remove the effectiveness of Medusa, like we were talking about with the Puck and the Death Prophet. It really does reduce their effectiveness quite a lot.
Double mana burn. Just pop them down. So have a cool mana Medusa. Very cool hero. Have fun with that, sir. See, Pro Qatar is definitely not the start that he's been looking for, but Tempest, it's really for me, I'm looking towards how they can use this next EXO. If they don't find a conversion on a successful team fight or even a T1 tower, it does feel like the next couple of minutes afterwards going to look to be very difficult, because there's a window now for here for Hokori. They're going to be able to play very aggressive across the map, continuing to make space for the anti-mage. If they win this next fight, all of a sudden the league goes up to about 4,000. Ember's going to get closer towards the BKB. He can look to create a lot of chaos on the backline. The Bane's never going to be able to position freely. You're not going to be worried about the Puck's control as well. So, but Tempest, they might... I don't know, they might look to chill for a bit as well, because Slardin is very close to Blink Dagger. They're probably going to look to... He's taking his bottom wave at the moment, which is probably going to bump him up to about 1,900. Maybe he can take that next wave as well, which gets in the Blink, and then maybe you're looking to go to take a fight.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not the greatest amount of net worth that you've got as a tiny. Like, sure, it looks like he's doing a decent job. He's at the top of the supports for now, but that's really not what you need. You need someone else that's going to be able to go in and find these early pickoffs, play around the Puck, because Puck still doesn't have that Blink Dagger, right? You don't have that thing that's going to be enabling you to get the snap on the Dream Coil guaranteed every single time. That's really what the Tiny's purpose is for now. So I suppose you could shove in this lane a little bit just so that you're not giving up a lot of this free space to an anti-mage to grow his net worth lead even further. But I guess... yeah, that is kind of where the anti-mage wants to farm, right? Like I was saying before, it's this next 4 to 5 minutes that Lumiere still wants to take the uber-safe farm. And his team's doing a great job of freeing up that space for him. But then after that, he can take a lot more of the dangerous farm. He can look to play very close towards his teammates just because he wants to connect onto them at every single opportunity. Even just the Roche potential as well for Hokori, right? You've got the Swarm, you've got the Orb of Corrosion, you've got the Sidekick as well, plus the Unleash is going to be, well, very, very devastating, especially with how far Lumiere has gotten so far.
Hopefully we don't have some crazy issues here for Tempest. 5 DCs is never a good sign at all. Hokori just... waiting patiently for their opponents to come back. Maybe maybe someone knocked the power cable or the internet cable. Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Never happened in my life.
Can't
At some
say it
LAN
happened to me.
parties. I've ruined LAN parties before with just accidentally kicking a power board that ruins the whole row of PCs.
Hang on,
I was
kicking
like,
is,
guys,
is
we were
very
losing anyway.
aggressive.
No,
Oh, okay.
accidentally.
Right. So you were
I
losing
am
already.
cool, calm, and collected.
I don't know. I've seen you in person. This is
Yeah.
incredibly debatable. You guys
What?
don't know,
All right. No, spill. How was I not cool and calm?
guys don't know what I had to put up with in Sydney. I don't know. At the ESL studio, then I'll be
Okay.
physically
Actually,
abused me.
I forgot about Sydney. I did not physically abuse you in Sydney. Let's get the record straight. But I was a little bit unhinged.
Oh my
Some of the green
God.
room antics. Don't make me
I-
make you laugh again.
No, you're not gonna do it. It's okay. I'm surprised it has not been brought up yet. I'm like,
You've just reminded me.
oh no. So who would have thought of having 4 Aussies as a talent in a green room would not spell disaster. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that a bunch of Aussies are just going to be a bunch of degenerates? You know, it's kind of crazy. I'm just trying to think of any trivia that we can use in this little bit of a pause time. You got anything that you've been meaning to throw out there?
I
can't.
Not
I can't
particularly.
give you any jobs, can I? All right.
Well,
watch
hang
any good
on, hang
anime
on.
lately?
Yes. Then I have indeed watched a lot of anime. I mean, as you know, and as everyone should know, I am a avid anime fan. So if you are too, make sure you follow me. I'm trying to build the following base up because I can't say I don't like anime because it just cuts me off to potential fans, right?
All right, Mr. PTP, Mr. Observer, I'm going to ask a request from you. Can you open up the scoreboard, please? And I want you to look at some of the players' avatars, and I want to see if Aries can identify which anime they come from. So, Gardic, can we have a look at Gardic's little avatar if you just left-click on his name? All right, who's that character from?
Wait, hang on.
This is an iconic one. I've given you an easy one to be able to start with, bro.
I'm trying to remember the name.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Dragon Ball Z?
There we go. All right. That is adult Gohan or maybe teen Gohan.
Yes!
High T Gohan. All right. You got one. Analog is next.
Let's no. Come on.
No.
End it there.
Analog is next. This is a more modern
know.
one. This
I
is
don't
from
know.
a later season. This is a sports anime. Okay. I'll give you a hint on that one as well. If you even describe the anime at all. What sport is it?
Volleyball.
There you go. You got it. It's Haikyuu. All right. Very, very nice. That
Wait.
is. It is actually volleyball. The guy's name is. I forget what his name is, but he's one of a. He's a twin.
Wow.
He's a twin. That's what I know.
I don't know, but I'm kind of cracked.
All
I
right.
don't know.
You got one more. You got one more. What is Lumiere's one from? You won't get this one. This is only a
Baku.
manga. It's not an anime just yet. What?
Baku.
I don't think it's from Baku.
Oh,
I
is
might
that
be wrong.
something? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just said a word. I said a word. I'm like, sure, this is territory, and okay.
So I think that's from a manga called Blue Lock, which is a soccer anime. I think. I might be wrong, but one of the characters kind of looks like that. Love me some sports anime, bro. And I don't know what Vitalis is. I thought it was something from Hunter x Hunter, a character called Uvogin, one of the Phantom Troop, but I don't think it's that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, what I can do? I can do some research on some anime. We are going to send us over a break. It does look like Tempest are having some issues for the moment. So we're going to have about a 10-minute break. Hopefully they can sort themselves out. And in the break, we can learn some new animes and maybe continue on with the trivia later on. But Tempest, Hokori, Game 1, and we'll be back shortly after a quick break.